My name is Kelley, and I'm a Compass teaching artist. I work with students all over Minnesota to make cool art and creative projects. I also make my own art, and I've shown it in galleries in Minnesota and elsewhere. One of the main ways I get these shows is to send photographs of my artwork to people or submit these photos online. And I've learned that getting a good picture of my work is almost as important as making the art itself look good. Once you've got good photographs of your artwork, you can use them to apply to be in art shows, get scholarships and awards, and even showcase them on social media or online galleries. I made this video to help you to make clear photos of your work. We're going to see what makes a good picture versus a not so great picture. And then we're going to learn how to take a good picture of both 2D and 3D work. Then I'll share a little about some of the more technical aspects of making digital images like size, resolution, etc. First, I'm going to show you some photos. Do you know what's not working in these? So, what makes a good picture? I'm sure we can all tell what is a good picture just by looking at it. The same is true for when we photograph our art. We need the photograph to be well lit, no distracting background, focused, and have the correct colors. I'll show you how to take a great photo of your artwork, and you can use the camera on your phone or any other camera you have access to. Number 1, lighting. Take your photo using bright daylight. If you have a big window somewhere in your house or at school, you can take the photograph indoors. If not, try taking it outside. Don't take your photos in the evening, especially indoors with lights on. There likely won't be enough light to see the art well, and the colors will be kind of off. We'll talk more about this in a minute. The best days to take photos are on bright, cloudy days, when the sky is a bright, light gray or white. Then the light is really even and there's no shadows. If you take it on a bright, sunny day, you might have strong shadows to contend with. So just make sure there aren't any shadows on your work. And if it's a sculpture or three-dimensional piece, make sure the shadows don't make it hard to see parts of the artwork. Depending on the art, it might be worth it to just wait to take the photo on a bright, cloudy day if you have the time. Number 2, background. Make sure there's nothing distracting in the background. The best is to have the art against a white wall, but if you don't have that, you can try using a white sheet or just any plain one color wall. If you don't have anything like that, try to go as minimal as possible. A brick wall or something with a little texture is better than having a messy bed, open drawers, and stuff strewn around in the background. You don't want to distract the viewer from your art. You want to give them the best possible chance of paying attention to all the work you put into making your art. Center your work in the frame and turn your camera if it fits into the frame better. Leaving just a little space around the edge of your artwork is good. Number 3, focus. Usually, if you don't have anything else around in the background and you're against a flat surface, your autofocus on your camera or phone will work just fine. But if you're finding that you are getting blurry photos, first you can try tapping on the part of your artwork that you want to be in focus. If that's not working, you can try turning the autofocus off in your settings and playing with taking the photos manually. It can take some practice, and it might be helpful to look at your phone or camera's manual or look up some videos on YouTube on how to take manual photographs. Number 4, correct colors. You want to try to make sure the colors of your artwork are the same in the photograph that you took. We might not realize it, but light has different colors. And with white or plain light, we call them temperatures. Everyone's camera has a thing called white balance. This is because our eyes and brains know how to adjust when looking around a room in different light situations. what's supposed to be white, but a camera has a harder time with it. Generally, your camera will auto white balance. If you're finding that your colors are way off when you look at your photos, usually this means the white balance is off. Most cameras will let you do a manual white balance, but you have to find it in the settings. You can also try pointing your camera directly at a white wall or a white piece of paper in your space, and that might trigger the auto white balance to fix itself. Again, try looking at the manual that came with it or looking it up on YouTube. But in general, if you're taking photographs using daylight, especially if you've got a bright gray sky, you will have your best chance of recreating the colors in your photo. If you followed all these things, chances are you have a pretty great photograph. Here are a few more tips just for specific kinds of artwork. If your work is 2D, like a painting or a drawing, try to keep your camera flat to your image. If your painting is leaning against the wall instead of hanging on the wall, leaning at an angle, tilt your camera to the same angle. Your goal is to try to keep the image on the screen as square as you can. If your work is three-dimensional, like a sculpture or a ceramic piece, consider taking a few photographs at different angles. A three-quarter view might show off the piece better than a straight-on view. In any case, for all artworks, always take several photographs. If you can look at them on a bigger screen, like a laptop or desktop computer or even an iPad, check them for focus and clarity before putting your setup away in case you need to take more photographs. The last thing I want to talk about is editing. If you took a clear, focused photograph using daylight, you probably won't need to do much editing. There are lots of free software and apps you can use. Pixlr is one of my favorites. You can also do quite a lot of editing inside your photo apps on your phone. Don't apply any filters. Remember, you want the color to match what the original artwork is. You can use the editing software to crop in if you need to. Just leave a little bit of the background around the edge of the image. The most important thing to make sure of is that you have a large photo with a file size that is reasonable. Some applications are very specific about file sizes, so make sure you're reading the instructions. Usually less than 2 megabytes is a good starting place, but you don't want to compromise the size of your image. Make sure it's at least 1,000 pixels in the longest direction. As far as resolution of your photograph, for most purposes, 72 ppi or dpi is great. 96 is also good, but don't go any smaller than 72. Most screens are in that range, and so if someone is viewing it on a screen, you'll be good. If the photograph is going to be printed, you want to have a much higher resolution. 300 is a good starting place, but do some research if you're printing and ask whomever is printing it if you can. Happy photographing and good luck.